Hey everybody, Chris here. Tough day in the markets. Tough day in the markets, especially crypto markets. Big hit all across the board, and I'll show you that on the charts. So what's happening? Well, yesterday we had the Fed raising interest rates. And for some reason, the markets went up. People were saying, oh, it was already priced in. We already knew that that was going to happen. Moon Boys last night making videos like, this is the big turnaround, this is the big pump. And it really wasn't. It really wasn't. Fake bulls. And we saw it today, the big dump. And Dogecoin took a big dump too. We want to go to the moon, absolutely. But to take a dump, I don't know about that. Just having some fun, because you have to, right? You have to. I know. Investments are tough. It's a tough market, but you got to be able to weather it, the ups and the downs. The downs, that's where we are right now. How low are we going to go? How long is this going to take? Well, if you've been paying attention, you've been watching my videos, I've been talking about this for a little while now. I think this is going to extend out through the summer, and we're going to have some dips. And like I said, I'm not buying in this market right now. I'm waiting, because I think there's going to be some bigger dips, and I'll show you that on the charts. What I'm looking at. It's just, this is the reaction. Now, some would think that cryptocurrency and the stock market wouldn't really be joined together. They wouldn't be moving the same. And that was the whole idea of Bitcoin being this decentralized peer-to-peer currency, and it wouldn't be tied at all to what's going on in the markets. However, what we have now is all these institutions buying into Bitcoin. Bitcoin no longer is really run by the retail traders like it was a number of years ago. It's now all the toots. And what we're seeing is much more of a correlation, especially this year with the NASDAQ and Bitcoin. Bitcoin still has 40% of the overall crypto market. And as Bitcoin goes, so do most of the altcoins. They all follow each other. So when Bitcoin decided to take a big dump, so did the rest of the crypto market. Let's take a look at the charts and some of the news, and I'll show you what I'm looking at. Going to start first by looking at the Bitcoin chart. So this is Bitcoin doing its thing, trading up 39,500. Yeah, it was going kind of sideways since yesterday. This was that run yesterday that we saw. This was the big run. It got out of a wedge. There was a downward wedge that was happening, and this looked like, oh, there's going to be a big breakout. It only went to 39.5. It might have touched 40,000. But then today, the big dump. And when did that happen? It happened right when the stock market opened. Look at that. 9:30, boom, big dump. Right with the stock market. 39.5, and it came all the way down to 35.5. That's a 4,000 point drop in just a few hours. That was tough. What did Doge do? Doge was actually doing a pump, because there was this news about Elon Musk is going to be like his own CEO of Twitter when he finally buys it. If that does all go through, that means as CEO, I mean, at least for a while, he's going to be CEO. And there was some good reaction to that. Doge had pumped up to 1375, but then it just followed Bitcoin and dumped down. Doge came all the way down to 1250. It's recovered a little bit since then, but now I'll show you this blue thing in a minute. But that was the price action that happened earlier today. So let me go back to Bitcoin, and let me go back to the daily, because these are things we were looking at the daily. We were looking at this downward wedge that was forming. Bitcoin came up in the green and then has dumped back down in the red. So that's where we are. If I zoom this out though, and we look at from the daily, and we look at last summer where Bitcoin was, and it had dropped down to just about 29,000, 29,300. So from where Bitcoin is now, if Bitcoin was going to have another big dip, and it was going to come down to 29.3, which was where it was twice last summer in June and in July. A lot of people are saying that would be the bottom for Bitcoin. That's a 19.7% drop in the price of Bitcoin from where it is now down to 29.5. So if we take a look at Dogecoin, well, what happened? Well, Dogecoin, when it dipped last summer, it dipped to 16 cents. That's all Dogecoin dropped to was 16 cents. And we were thinking at the time last summer, God, 16 cents, that's so low. And you see what happened with Dogecoin. It traded back up over 30 cents. So if we want to look at a drop now in Dogecoin, where Dogecoin is, and look at a drop, a drop of about 18% from here now would get us down to about 1040. So that's what I was talking about, 1040, 1050 the other day in my video. And that would be a target for a big dip. Now, we could see even more volatility on Doge, and we could see Doge drop down to 9, maybe even 8.5 cents. If there was this huge drop, it would probably only happen for a second though, and it would be really quick and bounce back up. We've seen that. And that's typically the market makers dropping down, buying a bunch at a low price, liquidating others who might have some stop losses set, and then see that pop right back up. And that's certainly what happened when we had here back on February 24th. We had that. That was that big dip down to 1050 and right back up. So we could see that again, but it would start even lower and drop down. So, I mean, you almost have to be ready to buy when it comes to those dips. If you really want to buy that dip, you got to be ready and you got to be watching it. But that's what I'm looking at right now. The markets are, it's still in the red. It's negative, and that's just the way it is. We look at some of the news, and we've got why Dogecoin is getting hammered today. Of course, Benzinga is gonna lead with that, right? But we also have Cointelegraph saying Bitcoin drops to 35.5 as the Dow dropped 1,000 points. The correction marks the worst trading day since 2020. So that is a big dump. NASDAQ was down 5% too. That was its worst trading in a long time. So we've got the bears, and the bulls are not coming out right now. And it's going to be a little while. So overall, again, we're just looking at this little blip here in the overall trading, but the indicators are that this is going to continue to go sideways and slightly down is what I'm looking at. Overall, we're looking at the total market, 1.6 trillion. The total market of all of cryptos has really dropped. And what else is happening? We've got the shorts. Look at the Bitcoin shorts. If I go back to the 30-minute here and we look at the Bitcoin shorts have come up. So more shorting going on of Bitcoin, not a huge amount, but it's more because right now, shorting Bitcoin is the thing to do. The Doge shorts aren't quite as high, but there is some shorting going on right now. I think there's a little more tentative looking at possibly shorting Doge, but the Bitcoin shorts are out. Looking at the total trading, not looking good right now. And so that's just where we are right now. So where do we go from here? Like I said earlier, I think this is going to be extended out for a couple months, few months, maybe even into the fall. It's just a lot of negative news out there. Don't see some big pumping going on right now. And that's just the reality of it. And if you watch me and you've watched my videos, you know, that's what I talk about. I tell it like it is and how I see it. So it's going to take a while for Dogecoin to recover. We're going to see some catalysts, though. They're going to happen. And when they happen, we're going to see some pumps happen. But as we've seen before with Dogecoin, particularly Dogecoin, when you have one of these big catalysts, Dogecoin starts shooting up. It gets to a point where then it gets shorted down. That's the reality of Doge. So you got to be ready for that. It's going to take huge catalysts along with rising of the overall crypto markets for Doge to get out of these doldrums, out of the dumps where it's been, so we can see the big positive price action happening. It's going to happen. Unfortunately, I don't see it anytime soon. Give the video a like. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the big Doge dump. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support. We'll see you next time.